We're back to the Total Education Spotlight Show on the Total Education Network. Remember, go to my website, TotalTutor.net, for more information. Follow me on Twitter at Total Tutor, Neil S. Haley, Facebook. Really excited about, a break coming up very, very soon. We're really close to Thanksgiving. It's a time, but I'm really excited before the break to welcome the program Michael Stone, former NFL player, played for many different teams. Michael, thanks for calling.
Hey, no problem. Glad to be on.
Absolutely. Excited to talk to you. And specifically enough, tell our audience your background, what teams you played for, and then why, entrepreneur after football. Tell me about that.
Okay, I played 7 years in the NFL. I came out in 2001, played 4 years with the Arizona Cardinals, played a year with the Rams, a year with the Patriots, with the Giants. And I actually had a hip injury with the Giants that required surgery, and I retired from there. And really, and one thing I realized in my career is that athletes had a hard time transition. So I think during my post career, I started to develop some resources to help guys transition out of football and into everyday life.
Well, absolutely, and I think that's the key thing. If you can help athletes transition after their career, because a lot of times, they've saved enough money up, maybe, but the problem is that injury could happen, or yet they were expecting a longer career.
Exactly. I think as an NFL athlete, or really any sport, you never know when you're a day for retirement. I think that in many careers, you plan on your retirement and you save and you get yourself lined up. But as an athlete, I can be retired, my second day playing.
Okay, so tell us how you got that started. Right after your career ended, you thought of this idea?
Yeah, really. As my career ended, I ventured around with a few different ideas, and it was all around how to help athletes with their transition, how to put them in a better position to leverage the fame or the dollars they made in their career. And just in those discussions, I met actually a former NBA player named Junior Bridgman. He actually played back in the 80s. I sat down for lunch with him. But he is also the largest Wendy's franchisee in America. He owns 100-plus Wendy's and 100-plus Chili's restaurants.
Wow.
And just hearing that story, I really thought about it and said, wow, this makes a lot of sense for athletes. I think as an athlete, you have a playbook. You execute against that playbook, so you have coaching the whole way. And it's very similar to franchising, to where you have an operations manual that is provided to you, and you have coaching along the way. So I think there's some real parallels and real opportunities for success for guys.
Well, most definitely. So you learned from Junior Bridgman. You said, I got to do this. This is a very important thing, because if you can leverage what kind of money you made in your NFL career or NBA career, whatever sport, and then be able to capitalize on that capital and make much more money as an entrepreneur, what a great thing. You could just continue to compete in that type of level. So how do you get athletes involved in that?
Really, what we do is we set up events throughout the year. We do a summertime franchise summit. We're doing some league-based events, really just inviting guys out. We get 30 to 40, really 40 to 50 guys out that are all interested in franchising. They come out, they learn about the business. We partner with franchisors to provide the education. So our partners are from Dunkin' Donuts to Moe's Southwest Grill to besides NV on down. They fund our organization and they help us provide the education.
Wow, that's pretty cool. And I guess that reaching out to those athletes and telling them, hey, I was in your same situation, and I think this is a great opportunity for you. How do they respond to that once you kind of give them the idea and understand that how good it is to franchise right after you retire?
No, I think a lot of guys respond very well to it at first. I think a lot of guys, they see the tangible business. If you're interested in franchising, you can find that franchise in your city. So they know what the business is. They're excited because it's a national brand. I think the biggest thing we have to do is slow them down and manage their expectations and let them know that you're not going to make, this isn't fast money. You're not going to make money like you may have made in your sport. You're going to grow wealth very slowly, and you're going to really have to learn about what you're doing and really be part of a part of your franchise organization. So I think what we do more than anything is try to slow guys down and manage their expectations.
Because a lot of them always, after their careers, they'll go buy a bar, they'll go buy a restaurant, and then they think, hey, I can get in this business, it'll be simple. And once they find out being an entrepreneur, owning your own restaurant, owning a business, managing, it's not the same thing as playing a sport.
Exactly. I think the biggest mistakes I made, just as athletes, and I've been in the same shoes, being an entrepreneur, is when you try to start a business from scratch and leverage what you know to try to answer a lot of questions. I think those are the biggest failures, too. The biggest failures you see are the guys who really jumped out there totally on their own. So, I'm a big advocate for, jumping into something, a level of entrepreneurship, but still having the support of the franchisor and still having support of the national name and the brand, because I think it puts you in a better position to win.
How were you able to recruit other athletes? People you knew at first to start it out, or were you able to get out there and really get the word out to people who've retired from those sports?
Really, our first year, we was talking to everybody we could. It was more so just us, really, me talking to the network guys I played with. And after the first year, we started to started to get referrals and have people calling, and it kind of just started to move by itself now. So guys know about what we're doing. Guys are calling us and want to be involved in it. So it's rolling a pretty good clip now.
So tell us some ways you educate them. What are the situations? I want to buy a franchise, and I was an athlete. I just retired, but I'm sure it's the same thing of any entrepreneur. I want to get involved in franchising. I have the capital, because that's the key. Michael, you have to have the capital, and these guys have the capital to invest in this, but that's the beginning process. So explain how you educate them.
Really, what we do our franchise summit, which happens every summer, it's a 3-day event. We have 3 days of classroom sessions. We teach them what is franchising, first and foremost. What is franchising? What are some of the rules you're going to have to live by? And what are some of the restrictions that you're going to have to live with? And then we talk about, what are you looking at when you actually talk to a franchise? What to look for? What the warning signs are? What kind of documentation you should expect? And then we teach them a little bit about how to do due diligence, because I may be interested in a certain brand. It may just be on a service level. Once I really dig in and understand, this brand will take me being in this restaurant 24/7, and it doesn't fit my lifestyle. It's not. I learn that's not a fit. So we try to help match the brand or help the athletes understand what brands fit the lifestyle they want to lead first and foremost, and then to help them understand the legal side of franchising, the financial side, how to gain financing, how to develop your operation, how to partner, how to develop operational partner relationships. I think there's a lot to be learned. We try to spend 2 to 3 days really giving them a crash course and teach them where to go to get more information.
And I think that's the key. You're educating them. And maybe they never took a business course in college, or they might never have learned. I guess there really aren't entrepreneurial courses out there, Michael. They teach you how to basically run a business for someone else, but now you're going to run that business. And you're right. Are they going to be willing to work 17 hours a day when they like sitting on their check at the end? Or do they want to be, how do they go out and get somebody who can manage their business while they're out doing their thing?
Exactly.
And so,
and it's funny, you find some athletes that want to be there all day and see it as an opportunity to really dig all the way in, and some that want to be more hands-off and find a partner. But I think you get both sides. We try to give the positives and negatives either way.
And you connect them for possible people who want to invest in the company as well, right? You have those connections to say, hey, you should reach out to somebody for a partnership, things like that, especially or someone to manage it. And I guess you tell the horror stories too, right, Michael? You tell what has happened that certain people bought franchises and literally have just not managed them right, and how they went right under, right?
Exactly. I think that's the most important thing to learn. It's always important to learn from examples of people who've done it wrong, so you don't have to do it yourself. It's like not having to bump your head yourself. So you can learn from those examples. So we try to give them those case studies of what not to do, and really a lot of it is you have to run your business. You have to understand your business more than anybody, and come into it with your eyes wide open. I think the biggest issue we've seen is people not knowing their business.
And how are they at managing? When you work with these athletes, how many of them know how to manage people? Your tutelage have to kind of teach them how to manage. They're used to being managed themselves by others, handlers. Now they have to manage somebody else. That's a challenge.
Yeah, I think. To be honest, I think part of managing people and leadership is one of the most natural things that I came out of sports. But I think a lot of people come out there naturally. You understand if you're an NFL athlete, you've been a team captain on some level. you've had to lead by example on some level. You've had to stay late and work and rally the other troops behind you to stay late and work and watch film and do those sort of things on some level. So I think once guys understand that, hey, look, everything I learned on the field, in the huddle, before the game, after the game, in the locker rooms, those are things I can transfer into business and transfer into leading an actual team. So we try to let them know that those are things that are of their advantage. And they understand how to use them. You really do understand how to manage people, but you may not know it yet. We try to let them know that they do have that skill set.
Exactly, and to get that skill set and to make sure that they can do it, but they have that ability. And you see it in different sports as well, because you don't work just with NFL athletes, correct? You work with other athletes as well?
Oh, yes, NBA. We have had a few NBA guys as well, baseball. We're working on hockey. But I think, we have Olympians there as well. But I think all sports have, athletes have a lot in common across sports. You're young. You're making a lot of money at a time before you understand how to manage your money very well, and you're learning on the fly. I think that's kind of a stream that all athletes live by. So we try to bring all athletes into the fold in our education.
So what is your ultimate goal with your business? Where do you want to see it go to?
Really, what we want to be able to do is be able to change the numbers. Is to be able to 10 years from now, be able to turn around and say, hey, look, these are the stats for athletes going into business post-career. These were the stats 10 years ago. This is the current stats. This is the impact that we've made. And really also have a family of athletes who've been through our education, been through our program, and are very successful and can tell our story.
And that's the key. And I guess, do you have a partnership, or is it just your business?
We have a lot of partnerships. We're partnered with the International Franchise Association, which is the largest body of franchising. We're partnered with the Retired NBA Players Association. We're partnered with the National Athlete Wives Association. We're partnered with a lot of groups. And also we have about 50 franchise that we're partners. So we have a lot of partners. We understand the value of partnerships, and we're trying to grow partnerships at all times. But at the same time, internally, we have a small team that really works hard to get our work out there.
Well, Michael, I think that's a great thing that you're doing, because, again, a lot of times athletes go and they, either get a job on air or different things like that. If they could see that they can make as much money or more through franchising, what a great thing. And ultimately, then you're helping spur the economy. You're helping finally bring it back. If those guys wouldn't get involved, a lot of times maybe there wouldn't be success. A community will get behind a local star that played if they have a business now. They're saying, okay, I really want to get behind this, and it really will help create jobs. It does so many different things. So I see that you help the athlete, but also you help the community, and I'm sure that makes you happy too.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy what I do. We're having a good time with it. I enjoy making people successful, so have a great time. All
right, Michael, where's a website we can find more information on what you do and about yourself?
Perfect. You can go to www.thephafi.org. P as in Paul, A as in Alpha, F as in Frank, I as in Initiative. So thephafi.org, and that stands for the Professional Athlete Franchise Edition.
All right, well, Michael, we got you on the Total Education Network, but I want to bring you on the Beach Lifestyle Show to talk about that as well. Again, all of them play on the networks, but I think it'll be perfect to talk to my co-host, GJ Reynolds, because you'll have a blast with him as well. So we'll definitely have you back on again. So thanks again for calling.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Good talking to you.
All right, take care. All right, that's Michael Stone. You're listening to Total Education Spotlight Show on the Total Education Network, and we'll be back in just a moment.